Welcome back to Rochester Living with Mark Siwiec and Corey James Moran, brought to you by Elysian Homes by Mark Siwiec and Associates. This is episode 210. Mark, how are you?
I'm great, bud. How you doing?
Doing really well. Coming off of Labor Day weekend.
Yep.
And my son's first birthday.
I saw
my youngest, my littlest. I've got three.
Nice.
Got Sarah Jesse with us, by the way, director of the MAG. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, pleasure.
So yeah, a little pool party on Labor Day weekend. It's a good
and
time.
some cake. I think I saw some cake.
Crushed the cake.
Crushed the cake.
Absolutely crushed it. Even with, he wasn't even afraid of like the sparkle or candle on the cupcake
wow.
we gave him.
Oh.
So he's another fearless one. So we got to watch out.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad you. Yeah.
How was Hammondsport?
It was idyllic.
Did you follow my advice?
What was your advice?
Pop a bottle of wine and do nothing.
Oh, you did. You did tell me that.
Yeah.
And I don't drink much these days. But I did. I had a variation in the theme, which was I had a celebratory gin and tonic to say
Very
goodbye
good.
to summer.
Oh, nice.
Awesome. Sarah, you? Was it good?
Is gin?
Is
gin and tonic
is gin good?
Yes.
Sure. Or Labor Day, both.
And your
you can
weekend?
weigh in
How
either
was your
way.
weekend?
My Labor Day weekend was great. I hung out with friends, read a book, relaxed.
What'd you read?
I'm reading this book about the Attica prison uprising.
Oh.
right
Oh,
now.
yeah, okay.
It's very, very good.
I bet.
It's riveting and sad and devastating and.
I remember as like a 7-year-old boy, my father was a cop in the city of Buffalo, and I remember like all this worry that I couldn't quite discern what was going on, but I remember like my mom in particular being glued to the radio to determine whether or not my father was going to be deployed to Attica. It never happened, but it's just one of those memories like you don't know what's happening in the moment, but then as years pass, you suddenly like you begin to put things together. You're like, oh my God, that was Attica. So
Yeah, wow.
So some light reading. Did you have a gin and tonic while reading the book? I would need one or two, I would imagine.
It's uplifting.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
About as uplifting as the Rochester real estate
A
market.
nice segue there. You've done this, haven't you?
Every time.
Wow.
Every time.
Really good.
All right, to be fair, I want to put out this as just a preface. We're recording on a Tuesday versus typically it's a Wednesday or a Thursday. Most properties do hit the market on Tuesday or Wednesday. Mark's getting ready to jump against what I'm about to say.
Mr. Sunshine over here. Go ahead. Tell us the good news.
Listen, we can go through life doom and gloom, or we could try to find a little
I
bit of
love that. No, seriously, I do
little
love that about
optimism.
you. What do you got for us?
We're down. We're down bad. So last week in Monroe County, during our last recording, there was 564 single-family active listings. As of right now, again on Tuesday, 489.
But this always happens in the middle of December. Oh wait.
Yeah, I mean, so what normally happens after Labor Day, Mark?
Normally there is everybody. Sellers are preparing themselves and their homes for market during the month of August, and then Labor Day comes and boom, you usually get quite a punch. I would imagine over the course of the next few days, to your point,
There'll be some more.
there will be some more. But
Would you be surprised if we got to the number that was last week? 564. Did we get there? That's a significant amount.
I bet we do.
Okay.
Because
Are you being the optimist?
I am. Here's why. I think a lot of people over the course of the past 10 days, 2 weeks, took their homes off the market for sale because they've been lingering for a while. So we're going to enjoy an uptick for two reasons. One, all those that were taken off the market will be put back on the market. And then, of course, new, fresh inventory.
Got it. Okay.
So,
All right. Six County region, by the way, those numbers, 1038 last week, we're down to 957. Under contract and pending, those numbers going down as well. It was 1174 last week. We're at 1162 right now. And then for the Six County region, it was 1770. We're at 1747.
wow.
So,
Wow.
how are you feeling about? We were a little optimistic. We were hopeful that we were bracing for maybe a busier fall. Again, it's very early to tell, so I don't even know if it's a fair question to ask. What's your gut?
I do think it's a fair question. We have history to rely on, and I've been doing this for 35 years, whatever it is. History tells me that these first few days are really indicative of what happens between now and the 10th of November when the real estate market dies for the season, for the year. So we've got 2 months of market ahead of us, but we're not coming out of the starting blocks quickly.
Yeah, super strong.
No, not at all. So I think we're going to glide through. And then it'll just be interesting to see what happens over the course of the next few weeks in terms of what do we get? Jobs?
Jobs reports on Friday.
Okay.
So that'll be a big indicator about what's going on with that.
And then CPI?
CPI comes out, I think, is it the next week?
I think it comes out the next week because then the Fed, of course, meets on the 16th
Right.
and the 17th. So I think
The expectation there is that they are going to cut, but that's
Right.
already kind of being baked into where interest rates are right now.
Yeah, although rates went up, we're at 6.53%. They went up just a smidge today. I'm not quite sure what that's about.
I mean, week over week, it was 6.52 last time we talked. So again, really not a big change there. Actually, the 15-year went down, which is always kind of interesting to see that.
Right.
That was 5.9. It's now 5.88. Again, not big numbers here, but still interesting nonetheless.
It'll be interesting. I mean, so I think we know what's going to take place over the course of the next 2 weeks and more or less over the next 2 months. I think the big question is what happens next year? And we've talked about this a little bit, but in particular, I'm concerned about job numbers. I'm concerned about inflation. I'm concerned about geopolitical turmoil. I'm concerned about next year's midterm elections and all that accompanies. That's just a tinderbox. So, yeah. So
it's already so nice and easy and even keel right now.
Wow.
Imagine getting elevated too. Well, let's not think about that. We'll wait and see. We'll let it play out, see what happens. Ready to jump to our guest?
I'd love to.
Do your thing.
Oh, gosh. I had the privilege of meeting Sarah a little less than a year ago at a small dinner party. There were only 6 of us. Some dear friends, Susan and Larry, introduced me, and a few things. One, I immediately fell in love.
Same, mutual.
Two, I was so excited and so optimistic for the future of the arts here in Rochester. And my initial inkling really proved in many ways to be true, in that since then there's a vibrancy that suddenly is associated with the Memorial Art Gallery. There is the new contemporary space that you've just launched, a couple of months ago. And for the first time, literally in 15 or 20 years, I attended a fundraiser, a gala, to benefit the gallery back this past spring, and it had the sense of excitement and community and possibility that used to accompany it. Like, it was a big deal event. Oh, and it was fun on top of it. And these are the kinds of things that we were very, very, very accustomed to 20 years ago. And as a lot of the wealth has left Rochester, our community has grown smaller and smaller and smaller. And it was as a result of Sarah and the energy that she brings to the job and the excitement of the people that she's surrounding herself with, that all of a sudden we once again were able to celebrate the gallery in the way that we haven't in years. So I am so excited to have you and so thrilled that you're joining us today.
I'm delighted to be here. Thank you. That's so generous and nice.
It's all accurate.
Mag has always been amazing. And coming in, I've been in this job now for a year and a half, and I think I'm really just riding the momentum that we've already had. I mean, Mag is beloved in the community, and just making it even better, right?
Yeah. I mean,
that's what we're trying to do.
Jonathan did a great job.
And Grant Holcomb did an incredible job.
Grant, who was there for
almost 30 years.
I was going to say 112 years or something. I mean, he was there for, and he's such a, have you gotten to know Grant?
Yes, I love Grant.
Such a gentleman.
I feel the effects of his presence almost every day at the museum.
Yep.
And similar with Jonathan, it's nice being part of this trajectory and picking up the baton from them. And I mean, even prior to Grant, I mean, one of the first museum directors at MAG was a woman named Isabel, and Gertrude Hurdle. Her sister Isabel joined her later, but this was in the early 1920s. She was one of the few women directors in the country and the youngest director in the country. So MAG has had this really great lineage of incredible people at the helm, and I'm very honored to be a part of that tradition.
I did not know that about the first. Was it the first director or one of the first directors?
Actually, the first director of the museum was her father, and when her father passed away, Gertrude Hurdle took over the museum, and she was there, I want to say, for almost 40 years.
Wow.
And her sister joined her as well and was there for decades as well. And they really helped shape the institution and give us this incredible collection that we have, and then all of us have just built on that.
It's one of these stories that part of the reason that I love Rochester so much is this sense of progressivism.
1920.
Exactly. I mean, like, you think back, like that's not supposed to be happening in a town this size. But Rochester, whether it's Susan B. Anthony or whether it's Frederick Douglass or George Eastman, like he was very, very, very progressive in his thinking. And she's just one more name that we can attribute to this sense of forward thinking sensibility.
Yes,
Yeah,
agreed.
that's awesome.
Yes, agreed.
So, all right, so bring us back. This is always a question that Corey. Go ahead, Corey. This is
We got to
always
start at the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay.
What brought you to Rochester? Well, where did you grow up first?
Grew up in Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
rural Michigan. I had a seminal experience at a museum in Detroit, the Detroit Institute of Arts, and I saw these Diego Rivera Detroit industry murals there. Have either of you seen these?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, they're incredible.
Yeah.
So they really blew me away when I was a teenager. And that was my first sense that I wanted to work in an art museum. And from then on, I was an art history major. I went to Oberlin College in Ohio.
It's a calling, really.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
So interesting, right? Because there's really two types of people. There's people that have those kind of moments where they feel drawn towards something, and
Yes.
then others that kind of are trying to feel their way through and figure it out. And it's just always kind of interesting to hear about those very specific moments that create that impact.
Yeah, definitely. And I've worked in museums now for 23 years in places all over the country, California, Oklahoma, Chicago, Maryland, and now Rochester. So this job at the Memorial Art Gallery drew me to Rochester because it was such an incredible opportunity and definitely a place that I thought we could be happy living personally and
Sure.
professionally.
Do you feel so from the Midwest?
Yes.
Do you feel some Midwestern sensibilities?
Definitely, which I love.
Yep.
That's a great thing about Rochester.
People hear, New York, and they automatically, obviously, think about New York City and kind of the attitude that comes along with that.
Yes.
And I've always talked. I talk all the time about these different tours that I do, where people come in from out of the area for these job interviews or what have you. And it's always our sensibilities are more Midwestern.
Yes.
And have you heard the phrase, the Midwest begins somewhere between Syracuse and Rochester?
Yeah, right.
No, I haven't.
I love that phrase because I think it is just, we do have sort of a Northeastern-like sensibility about us. We talk quickly, we move quickly. But when people ask how you're doing, they really do want to know, how are you doing? What's going on in your life?
Yes.
I had one tour. Someone smiled at them and they were very weirded out by it. Like, no, that's normal. It's okay. That's not bad. It's a good thing. You'll be all right.
Yes, true.
Did you grow up with? Was your family interested in the arts? Did you have an artistic sort of upbringing?
Well, not really. I mean, my parents worked in the automotive industry and always wanted to expose us to things outside of our small rural world. And they did, but we lived kind of in the middle of nowhere on an unpaved road. And so
wow.
we did
Yeah.
not have much access to art and culture.
And you didn't have the internet to tap into it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But I had a twin sister. Both of us were interested in.
Her name was Gertrude?
Wouldn't that be great? I wish. That would be perfect. So my sister danced ballet, and through that, we spent time in Detroit at the Fox Theater. She performed Nutcracker there, and it was kind of some exposure to art and culture, dance, classical music, and we just loved it. And then when I got my driver's license, I took myself to the Detroit Institute of Art and had that very formative experience, and it set me on this path and a very rich, wonderful life full of art and culture.
So let's compare Rochester, because again, you've had many stops here now.
Yes.
How does it compare? Specifically, obviously, in terms of arts and culture.
To Michigan or different places I've
Different places
lived?
that you've been.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that is interesting to reflect on is I've worked in museums in these different types of places, very rural, small towns to large metropolitan cities. And one of the things that's very rewarding about living in a place like Rochester is that there is plenty of arts and culture here. I mean, it punches well above its weight for a city of our size. And we're so lucky, I think it's because of those people that you mentioned earlier, like George Eastman and the founder of MAG, Emily Sibley Watson, who invested in infrastructure and culture and those investments we still enjoy today, right? So Rochester's pretty unique, I think, in that way, because it's not a huge city, but it has so much culture here that resembles a huge city. But it's very fun to work in a smaller city than like in LA or Chicago, just because the museum here, I think, can mean more to people. People have a real relationship to it, and that feels kind of special.
So you grow up in rural, unpaved road, all of that, and then you've worked, as you said, in smaller cities, smaller towns. Do you think that has helped to inform your sensibilities as they relate to, and your commitment to opening museums to a wider audience?
Yes.
Because I love this about you, and if you want to talk a little bit about the $6 million endowment.
Yes, definitely. So I grew up in a working class family, and I know now, having worked in the museum field, that we would have been considered non-traditional museum goers, right? Like the traditional museum goers, typically wealthy, educated, not that we weren't educated, but you get my point. So
elite.
Elite. There you go.
That's a great word.
That's a great word
yeah.
for it, right? And art museums have this stigma of elitism associated with that, and those stigmas are reinforced by actual elitist things that are in place, like the admission fee if people can't afford it, things like that. So
the location itself of the museum, the ability to actually get from one part of town to another.
yes, all of
Even
that.
if you look at the structure itself, it's a bit formidable. I mean,
Yes.
it's a fortress, if you will.
Yes.
With a large lawn that that you
Yes.
really like. It really is formidable. So there are a lot of barriers to entry.
Right, yeah, exactly. But we know that people benefit from art. It makes our lives better. It makes the community better. And so we know we just have to work hard to let people know that the museum actually is a place for them, and to remove those barriers that prohibit people from actually coming. And I think I'm extra sensitive to this because of my upbringing. So I've been very devoted throughout my career to making sure that the museums that I'm working at are truly accessible to the community. And so coming into MAG in a city like Rochester, which has some pretty serious socioeconomic challenges, and MAG has this $20 admission fee. And that, I think, is incongruous to our demographics here in our hyper-local community, and it's also incongruous to our mission, this kind of public-spirited educational mission that museums have. And so one of our goals is to raise enough money for an endowment to be able to eliminate that fee forever. So we're working toward that right now.
And it's $6 million.
Yes, exactly.
And how's it going?
It's great, yes. I wish we could make an announcement now, but we're not. It's a little too early for that. But maybe I'll come back on the show and share our progress.
Next week?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Sure.
Can you talk a little bit about the philanthropic nature of Rochester? Because obviously you're experiencing that now firsthand as well, trying to
Definitely.
to raise this money.
Yeah, it's a very philanthropic place. And, one of the things that really attracted me to working in museums and kept me working in museums is this idea that museums are an expression of the public spiritedness and generosity of generations of community members. And you see that at MAG because we've been in existence since 1913, and every single artwork in the museum's collection was a gift of some sort. It was either given to us by a local collector, or a pot of money was given to us and we purchased art with that. And so I love this idea when I'm walking through the galleries. I mean, any one of these masterpieces could have ended up in a private living room, and instead they're in this public living room. And I really get the sense that in Rochester, there was this sense of the public living room. Like, we have all of these beautiful Olmsted parks that were created for generations of people to enjoy. We have our public libraries. We have all of our cultural institutions here. And I get this sense that the civic leaders of the time in the early 1900s were thinking about what makes a city great. You know, every great city needs a great museum. It needs a great orchestra. It needs a great library. And I just love that spirit of generosity and ambition. And I see that continuing today. And I think with this free admission fund, this endowment that we're going to raise, that feels to me very much in the spirit of these early philanthropists, because it's setting up a benefit for not just this generation, but every single subsequent generation. And it also is an investment in Rochester, and it will help continue to make Rochester this wonderful place to live and to visit.
Right. The more people that are exposed to art,
yes,
the stronger the community becomes. And
it's
pretty simple.
Absolutely.
The elitist type part of it doesn't make a lot of sense. It
yes.
seems kind of cannibalistic a little bit when you really think about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, elitism, I'm so interested in elitism as it relates to Rochester, because at one point in time when we were this incredibly wealthy, incredibly strong economic force, I think that elitism absolutely existed. But I think through the years, as Kodak, Xerox, Bausch & Lomb have all downsized, the Gleasons, et cetera, you know, a lot of that money has gone away. And so I'm not quite sure elitism still does exist, especially when you're talking about a community that is, what, 3/4 of a mile the other side of Main Street from your, they can't afford to go.
Yeah.
But I think that that a lot of the elitism that did exist no longer exists.
Yeah.
But it's been, but I still think that spirit of generosity and philanthropy. I mean, you look at Deborah.
Yes.
And, Deborah Renan, who you honored just a few months ago, she's leading the pack in terms of arts and cultural giving.
Oh, definitely. I mean, she's very supportive of many cultural institutions, not just MAG.
Yeah.
And at MAG, she created an endowment that funds our curator of contemporary art, Timothy Peterson. And it's an endowment, so that means that it will exist forever. And it's really a way to shape an institution, right? So Deborah's gift means that MAG will be talking about and showcasing contemporary art, the living artists of our time, forever, for as long as the museum exists. And we think about time and the museum in terms of like centuries. We know that we're going to exist 100 years from now, and it's really kind of moving to think about Deborah's endowment and other endowments that are given to the museum benefiting this community 100 years from now.
And then you're really focusing too on partnering with the Rochester City School District.
Yes,
as well, which
we have a wonderful partnership with them. It's a multi-visit program, so kids come not just once, but multiple times for multiple years. And so it's a more in-depth commitment to them.
Have you seen the moment that you had in Detroit in the eyes of some of these children?
Yes. Oh my God, all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. One of the things that I did when I first came here was just talk to members, donors, the staff, and I just asked them, have you ever seen a transformative moment of impact happen here? And I have this Word document on my desktop that is a running list of stories from people.
Awesome.
Yeah, these transformative moments that have happened. And I love doing that storytelling because I think for some people, when I talk about this transformative encounter with a work of art that one can have, if you've had it, if you've ever been moved by a piece of music or a film or live theater, you understand what I'm talking about. But other people who haven't yet experienced that don't really understand what I'm saying. So a lot of times these stories are really useful, I think, in demonstrating the profound impact that a museum can have on someone's life. It can obviously enrich it, but it can actually also transform it. I mean, it completely transformed my life.
Do you have any other stories off the top of your head?
Oh my gosh.
I'm putting you on the spot here.
I know, there's so many. I'm referencing my Word document right now. Let's see.
Accessing.
Do you have one?
I'll have to think about it for a second.
Okay,
Go ahead.
so,
Yes.
So what about you and a transformative? Yes, of course, the Diego Rivera that you referenced a short while ago. Was there another moment, or is there another artist that you have found to be transformative? That is just
Yes. One of the things you learn from working in museums is that for an artwork to work its magic on you, you have to spend time with it, right? Like a lot of people walk through the gallery and just buzz by artworks until something catches their eye, and then they'll stand in front of it. And if you are disciplined to stand in front of it just a little bit longer, its meaning will start to emerge. And I had a wonderful experience recently at the Museum of Modern Art in New York. I saw a retrospective of an artist named Ketta Kollwitz. She's a German artist working between the wars. And she documented her sons dying on the front line. And the depiction of grief of a mother losing her son, it was so powerful. And it's a black and white woodcut print.
Wow.
And she depicts this huddled mass of women, kind of, you almost can't differentiate between the figures. It's this huddled mass of grieving women. And there's just something about that image that just really moved me. That's just one off the top of my head, but honestly, I have been moved by art so many times.
Do you know Goretzky's Symphony No. 1?
No, should I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It is. I'm actually going to get choked up thinking about it because it is. I mean, you talk about transformative. It is a symphony with voice. Dawn Upshaw is the soprano, and she is singing the words of a mother who has lost her son in the First World War, and it is haunting.
Yes.
It is beautiful, and it actually became so popular that it became the #1 hit in the BBC probably about 25 years ago. I'm going to get you a copy of
Yes,
it.
wow.
And I challenge you not to cry.
Yes.
It is just haunting. In fact, I'm wondering, I'm going to turn to our engineers or Steve. I would love at some point in time during this podcast, perhaps they can just grab a little bit of that and maybe we can close out this segment by playing just a little bit of Goretzky because it is just spectacular.
Yes,
it is really one of my
brilliant.
favorite pieces of music.
Yes.
All right, so let's get back to the mag. What's on the horizon?
Well, we have a huge art festival this weekend, our Clothesline Arts Festival, and we have been offering Clothesline every year for almost 70 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's a massive mag tradition, Rochester tradition, and it's so much fun.
It's Rochester. There's got to be a festival, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. It's great. And we have over 320 artists showing and selling their
My
work.
God.
The galleries are open. We have a full concert lineup. We have food trucks. It's just going to be a blast for families, for individuals, anyone who wants to come. It's sponsored by M&T Bank, and they were very generous this year. And because of that, we're able to offer free admission for our members.
Oh,
And
well, teaser.
now only $5 for the general public. And it's a fundraiser for the museum. So the $5, it is all goes toward enacting our mission and making what we do possible. So it's all going toward a good cause. And when people come and support and purchase work from the artists, I mean, it makes their day, it makes their month, you know, quite literally sometimes financially. So it's a wonderful way to support both the museum and local and regional artists.
And it really is. It's a great festival. I mean, really, it like you stumble upon some
Yes.
amazing pieces of work there.
Yes,
Yeah.
amazing makers, yes.
So you've got that this weekend, but you've got quite a number of other things going on between now and the end of the year.
We have so much going on at the museum. It's such an active and dynamic place. So our Finger Lakes exhibition is on view right now. It is always great, but this year it was very competitive because we had over 2,000 submissions and only 90 made the cut. So it is top-notch quality. And again, really awesome to showcase how talented and creative and artistic this community is. So that's happening through October 5th, and then we're going to close the large gallery for a few weeks while we prepare for the next big exhibition. And that is called Frontiers of Impressionism. And it focuses on the Impressionism art movement, late 1800s. We're going to have Monet's water lilies in the show.
All of them?
No, not all of them. That would be, wow, that'd be a very cool exhibition.
They would put you on the map.
All of the famous Impressionist artists. And one of the things that's interesting about the show is that it reminds us that these artists were very trailblazing at the time. One of the things that our interpretive engagement department has done is they pulled out headlines from the newspapers of the time that were skewering these artists, like trolling them in very funny.
Is this what the kids call receipts?
Yes.
Right?
Yes, exactly. Yes. So we're showing the receipts.
That's great.
And it's really funny to think of these artists as being controversial or being mocked in their day. But they really were trailblazing. They really started modern art and changed the trajectory of art history and the way we look at visual language.
And how many pieces in this show?
Don't quote me. I want to say 50.
So tell me, I think it's so important to actually recognize and acknowledge some of the. I mean, we can't enjoy these shows unless we've got underwriters. So who's underwriting this exhibit?
Absolutely. Our lead sponsor is Dawn Lipson.
Love her.
Very supportive in the community. And then our supporting sponsors are the Robert Lehman Foundation, the Rubens Family Foundation, and Joseph Domino.
Oh, that's
and
great.
in addition to them, we have many other sponsors who are helping make this show possible.
And how many people are going to be showing up this weekend?
I hope close to 20,000 at least.
That's huge. Yeah.
That's enormous. Again, another feather. Congratulations.
Well, we'll see. Well, we hope.
Okay.
We're certainly pulling out all the stops. So anyone listening, I mean, I think people would be crazy not to come, right?
I completely agree. We just had Erica Fee on last week. Erica oversees a Fringe Festival.
Oh, yes.
And just incredible in that one of the lead sponsors of that, I think probably the lead sponsor, once again, is Dawn.
Yes.
Dawn Lipson. She's everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
we
ESL,
love
they're
you,
very
Dawn. Like
supportive.
you do an amazing job. We're all indebted.
Yes, agreed. And
Yeah.
we are actually hosting some Fringe events too for the first time. Mag is a host.
Oh, first time. Awesome.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm hosting a dinner party. I'm gonna have you and Matt. I'm gonna have Eric over, and then you don't know Eric and Juliana from the RPO yet, do you?
No, but
you're
would love
all
to.
young. You're all in the forefront of what's happening culturally and artistically here in Rochester. It's gonna be a great dinner party.
Yeah.
So
I'm in. Count me in.
Anything else, Mark?
A million things. And none of them come to mind at the moment.
It's later in the day than we normally record. so
Exactly. I did have. We still have some time here. Hold on.
Yeah.
Guys.
I'll save you.
Okay, great.
So obviously, our major part of your life, you already talked about. You like to read.
Yes.
Other hobbies. Not that you probably have a ton of free time. But.
Yeah, I do yoga. I hang out with my dog. And cat. I shouldn't forget the cat.
Come on now.
I mostly just do cultural activities here. You know, I'm going to the Eastman Museum and the Science Center and the concerts and films at the Little. I'm often out and about doing cultural activities here and taking it all in.
It's a lifestyle. It's a life. It's not a
It
not
really
a job.
is. Yeah, so true.
Are you
Yeah.
a Bills fan?
I mean, yes.
That's the correct question.
Right?
Because that's the biggest thing happening in Rochester, Mark.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yes.
That the Bills are playing on Sunday.
Oh, right. Yes.
I
The
mean,
Bills. Are you a Bills fan?
I love. I mean, honestly, I became a Bills fan just a few years ago, and
Okay.
I am so excited. I'm a little worried about this coming season, but
Oh,
Okay.
let's
Yeah.
talk about it. Because
Yeah.
they're playing Sunday. It's a tough matchup. They've got the Baltimore Ravens at night.
Yep.
What do you think?
I'm a little concerned
Do you think
about
Lamar's
our
mad?
defensive. What's that?
You think Lamar is mad he didn't win the MVP last year?
I mean, well, he by rights, I think he should be a little bit. Lamar Alexander, the quarterback for the Ravens. So I'm concerned. I'm genuinely concerned because our defense is just so beaten up so early on in the season. So, and then we got a few guys who are out for the first 6 weeks, 8 weeks, as a result of some some doping. So yeah,
Oh,
a little
wow.
performance-enhancing drugs. So yeah.
Not ideal.
Anyway.
We'll see.
Yeah, what's your prediction?
Listen, this has to be the year, right? It's the last season in the old stadium. Mm-hmm. It's got to happen. It's got to happen. I have no idea what to expect though, because they didn't play anyone in the preseason, so who knows?
Well, that is true. Yeah. They played nobody, but they played it safe. Seriously. I do want to get back to the museum because I've always been intrigued by, if you would tell me a little bit about this 5,000 years. You've got this collection that spans 5,000 years.
Yes.
Do you want to continue as you think about your tenure at the museum, but also that which is to come? Do you want to continue to have that kind of breadth, or do you feel as though there should be a little bit more of a focus?
Yeah, I would say we have an emphasis on contemporary art, but we are growing the entire collection. And I think that's really important because different things resonate with different people. And the identity of the institution is what we used to refer to as an encyclopedic museum, the 5,000 years of art history from cultures all over the world. And knowing that we are the best balanced collection in the region, the most comprehensive, I feel like we have a responsibility to people here locally to expose them to as many different forms of art as possible. And the ability to talk more in depth about contemporary art, given the generous endowment from Deborah Ronen and Timothy's new position as curator of contemporary art, it just allows us to continue to tell the story of art history as it's unfolding today. If you think about every single artwork in our collection was at one time considered contemporary.
Right, yeah.
And so who are the artists today who, again, 100 years from now, because we think in terms of long spans of time, who are the artists who are the cultural contributors, and continuing to tell that narrative. I think that's important.
And I love the answer, and it causes me to question how it is that you define contemporary art, and specifically, what is Timothy's mandate?
Yes, so that's actually a debate in the museum field. So I worked at the Museum of Contemporary Art in Chicago. That was my first big job, and we defined it as art post-1945. That is somewhat accurate for contemporary art, but not everyone is. Sometimes museums define it as living artists who are alive. So we define it as post-1945. We have a wonderful American art curator named Jess Martin, and so there's some crossover between them and even with Nancy Norwood, our wonderful European curator, because Nancy's in charge of all European and non-Western art, and there are living artists working all over the world, and so all of our curators really work together to help build the collection, because we have quite a generous acquisition budget every year, so we're constantly buying artworks, we're constantly growing the collection, and they all work together to figure out what objects we need to best tell the story of art history from the past all the way to today.
So I've got two questions. Well, one might be more of a comment. Even 1945 to the present,
Yes.
I mean, to use it's also encyclopedic. I mean, you're going from
Yes.
Jackson Pollock, you got Rauschenberg in there, you've got Warhol and that whole movement, you've got David Sallie, and
Yes.
to today's artists, Julian Schnabel falls in there. I mean, that's rather encyclopedic.
Oh my gosh, yeah, no, I know. And I think one of the things that museums are doing now is we're not actually referring to ourselves as encyclopedic anymore, because it's impossible to be truly comprehensive. And so we call ourselves now universal collections. Okay. So the idea is
Sounds
that...
cooler too.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, I think
okay.
So. Yeah.
The idea is that what we're trying to do is to show the universality of these objects, that we can find connection in an ancient Chinese ceramic, because it's all about human creativity and human achievement and we all can relate to the human condition that these artists are often talking about. So now we talk about our collection in terms of those connections that we can make.
I love that sort of juxtaposition because, I can imagine, Chinese pottery of some sort, going back several thousand years, with a Julian Schnabel painting just hanging,
right.
Right there. That makes a lot of sense to me, and that's not a far stretch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you could choose for the collection, if you had a blank check,
Oh gosh.
one artist or one piece that you would just kill for.
This is so hard.
But that's a good question though.
That's a really good question.
Sorry, even if I do say so myself.
That's a
The good ones are tough to answer, yeah.
That's a really good question. I mean, one thing I will say is that I became a director of a museum because I think my skill set is shaping a team, shaping an institution. And so I say that to say that I really want the curators to bring their own strong point of view to building our collection. And so generally want the curators to be making these suggestions, right? I mean, I have my own favorite artists, but just because they're my favorite doesn't mean it makes sense for Mag's collection. So
right.
I try to have personal taste not be a factor.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, so I think the question of what artists make sense for Mag's collection is maybe a different
Okay, so
question.
so you personally have
Yes.
a blank check, and you're
Me
going to choose,
personally.
and you get
Okay.
to choose one item, one artist, one painting, one sculpture, whatever it might be, for your living room, for your garden, whatever.
Okay. I would say I'd say Kerry James Marshall.
Okay.
Do you know his
Yeah,
work?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, what I love about his work, so he's a African-American painter working today. I mean, one of the best known artists working today. He depicts figures in this very technically proficient, very virtuosic way, but there's also a lot of conceptual meaning behind the work and symbolism, and so that's kind of a sweet spot for me, I would say, is it's technically super competent. You kind of can't believe a human created this thing, right? And also is full of meaning and symbolism. That's the Venn diagram for me, personally.
No. Yeah, I mean, very, very cerebral.
Yeah. So what if you both had a blank check for Mag? What piece would you buy for our collection?
Whatever the curators tell you to buy.
Hey, good answer.
Basquiat.
Oh, wow. I didn't think you would say that.
100% Basquiat. Yeah, anything by Basquiat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why do you like his work so much?
She got you. Tables are turned.
Well, first of all, I'm colorblind.
Oh,
So one of the reasons that I love Basquiat so much is that it's so vibrant and it's so colorful. And even though I can't necessarily tell the difference between green and brown or green and gray sometimes, like there's just so much. There's so much yellow and there's so much red and there's so much blue. And there's just... there's an excitement and a dynamism that I find just so... And the whole melding, if you will, of graffiti with high concept art, and then the tragedy of his life. I mean,
Yeah.
just roll it all into one, like boom, like you got me.
wow. That's a good. You've made a good rationale.
Okay, good. Thank you. I passed.
A moment ago, you said for that artist that you couldn't believe a human made it.
Oh, right.
I mean, we haven't talked about it yet. Shocking.
Huh.
AI? What's the art community talking
Oh,
about in terms of
wow.
AI, right?
Yeah.
Is there any kind of fear with that? Or can it be a tool that artists can use
Yes.
to make their work even better?
Yeah, we had an artist speak recently, and she said that in her lecture that she uses it as a tool. But I think it's really important for the artwork to be as far from AI as possible.
Because it's all about human connection, right?
It's and like a singular voice, a distinctive vision. I think really the opposite of AI. I think that is what creativity actually is. But I know you love AI.
Love AI.
Do you love AI as well?
Not as much as Mark.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone loves it as much as Mark.
So would you make the case for AI as art, or do you think they're totally separate as well?
I would go, and I'm probably lifting this from Susan Sontag, so I apologize in advance, but I think of photography. Photography was the end of art as we knew it.
Sure, yeah.
Click, done, and you've captured the image. But instead, if anything, I mean, photography is no longer the revered art form that it once was, at least from my perception. And I think that there is always going to be a need for the creative voice, whether the voice is manifested on painting or in dance or through music. So that would be my answer.
Okay.
Yours?
Yeah.
Did you agree with?
Well, you're making me
bullshit?
No, you're making me think. We have this piece in our pavilion by an artist named Siwiec.
Oh yeah,
Do you
sure,
know that
yeah.
piece?
Of
It's
course,
a wall drawing.
No, I don't know that piece, but
Okay, well, if you know Siwiec, you know it. It's a wall drawing, and Siwiec basically just created a set of instructions that told someone how to execute his work.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
It's the prompts.
It's the what?
The prompts.
Yeah, exactly. So the artwork is the set of instructions, and someone, a different human, not the artist, makes it. And so that prompts a lot of conversation about the artist's hand and whether it needs to physically be in there. Where does art begin? Is it the concept, the idea, or is it the actual making of the object? And you're just kind of making me think that within art history, we see these developments like the invention of photography and the birth of conceptual art, and how we kind of thought it wouldn't count as art, or the end of art as we know it, and yet we've moved on. So I guess I'm saying maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I don't like AI at all. I'm trying, but I don't. I just...
You don't think there's going to be a piece, in the mag, again, you're thinking in years and years, 50 years from now, that has the piece and then the prompts right below, so that you know what the person creating it was exactly what they were thinking.
You're bringing up a really good point. You're bringing up a great point. You're making me think.
Think about conceptual art itself. I mean, AI is so easily conceptual art.
Yeah.
And if you go back, I mean, Warhol, or centuries before Warhol, I mean, what is art? I mean, Warhol has the concept, but then he's got all sorts of guys who are just in the factory, working as factory workers, just doing litho after litho,
right.
like one after another. So
right.
yeah. So I'll just one last thought that comes to mind is, people are always saying it's the death of the American worker. No, your job is not going to be eliminated by AI. Your job is going to be eliminated by somebody who understands AI. So, and I feel the same with art. Artists will always remain. There will always be a need for artistry. I mean, people were saying the exact same thing on when it is that the first synthesizers were coming along, and all of a sudden you could have automated music, a Moog synthesizer or something. Oh my God, it's the death of the musician. No, not the case whatsoever. It's just
when DJs came along.
It's just
same deal, right?
It's just another tool. So
right,
for what it's worth.
Okay. I have seen some very bad AI produced.
This is why you're tainted. That's why.
Well, I mean, it's almost it worries me because people will watch things and not realize that AI created it, and it's just bad, and bad AI writing and bad YouTube videos produced by AI.
But there are bad poets, and there are bad painters, and there are bad composers. So
yeah.
That is a really interesting question, though.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, I have no artistic ability, none whatsoever. But I love to write. But I will admit to I need 10 examples of a potential metaphor for the following. And so I do use it as a tool to supplement my writing. So
idea generation, brainstorming.
Yeah, exactly. So
maybe there's always a place for something.
But where do you? And I know we're probably running a little bit long here, but where do you personally? You are the director of a major museum. which requires a lot of ideation and a lot of conceptual thinking. Where is it that you're finding inspiration? Where is it you're finding new ideas? Where is it that you're finding...
Good question. Going to other museums, seeing other artists, going to other types of institutions that people do in their leisure time, not just museums, but other things, and seeing what other fields we can borrow from. Conversations with my partner, Matt, are always very generative. Reading... just ingesting culture. I need a lot of culture to be satisfied in life, so I'm always looking for different sources of inspiration. But I never use AI. Never. I've never used AI.
Really?
Yes.
Come spend an afternoon with me.
Okay. Okay.
But like you, I mean, again, no artistic ability, but in order for me to grow my business, in order for me to hire or recruit or I just have to ingest a lot of podcasts and a lot of books and a lot of journal articles and I have to look outward to see what is it that Ryan Serhant is doing, or what is Compass or EXP, what are they doing, and I think just the more you ingest, and then it always happens like usually in the shower.
Shower thoughts,
yeah, like, you know, it all just, you know, sort of melds and comes together, and do you have those? Are you a shower moment kind of?
Walking. I walk to work, and it's about 3/4 of a mile there and back, and that's my time to think. So yeah, walking for me. Okay. Yeah.
Where do you? You don't have to. You've got 3 kids under the age of
The bathroom is where I hide, to be quite honest, with my 3 children. So that's usually my time for clarity as well. That's where the silence is. That's true.
You want to move on?
Well, we're kind of up against it. I know you both have a couple things you have to get to. So so let's wrap.
We do have to wrap. I had no idea.
Next week on the podcast, the guest is lined up. Perfect timing.
So excited about this also.
As we mentioned a little earlier, Bills are playing on Sunday. Yep. Dan Fates is going to be rejoining us from 13 Wham.
I love this guy.
Yeah.
I don't know him very well, but God, I wanted to be one of my good friends. He's such a good guy.
So either it'll be a very happy podcast or a very sad podcast, depending on what happens.
One way or another, it's going to be very, very interesting.
Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Talk to you again next week.